All right, yeah, so after watching an interview with Jordan Belfast and Grant Cardone, I felt the need to explain a few things, realizing that probably if these two big guns have a confusion or a disagreement regarding sales and marketing, that the average guy, especially anyone who listens or looks up to these particular individuals for advice, is probably sitting there scratching their head wondering what the heck is going on. And so as a salesperson, I want to just break it down for you a little bit so you can maybe you don't have a confusion, but I figure actually for anybody who wants to better understand sales or marketing, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up, I think Jordan is like Wolf on Wall Street and Grant Cardone interview. Just Google it, it'll come up. Basically, they had a situation where one is a excellent marketer versus the other who is an excellent salesperson, and they sort of had different views that seem to oppose each other. In actuality, they really don't. And so I just want to give you a little bit of, I was hoping to break this down. So here you go. So when two people have a disagreement that persists regarding anything on the subject of apples, oranges, sales, marketing, anything like that, it always comes back to like one thing. They have different definitions for what it is that they're talking about. So sometimes people have wrong definitions for things where they should know better. They really should have looked up stuff, but they really haven't. But basically, when two people can't get along, you can break down definitions, and a lot of times that's going to set shit straight. So let's start with the definitions of marketing and sales and give you some examples. Okay, so marketing comes from market. A market is an area where a specific type of a product is, or an arena, so either a physical location or an online location or any type of platform or area where some kind of trade or commerce or like a product can get bought and sold, or really for anything. That's a market. So marketing is sort of like a misname. It's sort of a confusing thing. I think this is where most people are confused. They don't actually understand the word marketing. So marketing is the action of promoting and outflowing communications related to the existence of a product or service. And marketing is that question mark that is sent out into the environment, and when that question mark lands upon a particular market or demographic or person or buyer or individual who is interested in perhaps finding more information out about that, or maybe buying a product or whatever. So it's the promotion or advertising, or maybe you put a message in a bottle and throw it out. You throw it out into the ocean. That's marketing, hoping that it lands somewhere. And it's a question. It is a question that you send out, and when it gets a response back, you now have a shot to move into sales. Okay. So again, it's a outflow of communication. It's a question mark, and when someone answers back, marketing is now completed, and you're now moving into sales. Okay. So the cool thing about another side point of marketing is that when the person answers back, now they are saying that they are somewhat qualified whether with some interest or with some money or some purpose or problem that they would like to solve. Now they're moving into what's called like a sales sort of funnel, okay? You could almost have a marketing funnel and a sales funnel. Sales funnel, though, has to have a person who is possibly qualified. This is the major point that people sort of get messed up in their mind. So then sales, let's look at the definition of sales. Sales is that action, whether small or large, that moves the person into enough agreement so that they agree that they would like to move into action and acquire that product or service. It's not even necessarily the action of them paying for it. It's gaining enough agreement and enough reality with the product that they say or move into action that they would like to buy that or acquire that or solve that problem, okay? And when sales is completed, it's closing. And when the person has fully agreed to go ahead and make the next step, which is probably to pay for something, it could sometimes be to sign a contract, that's a close, okay? So, all right, now some products require all marketing and barely any sales, like Coca-Cola. There's really barely any sales involved because it has such a recognition that it really doesn't require much sales. Just take some ads here and there to remind you that the product exists, and then when you see, and that seems, whenever you go into the store, you'll basically buy that. So they're saving money. They don't have salespeople for their product, the Coke. But if you're in network marketing or something, you're actually when you're cold calling people, prospecting, that's actually not sales, that's marketing. And you're looking through to find people who potentially could be qualified for the product or service that you have. If you confuse sales and marketing, if you move into sales during marketing, you're gonna look like an ass, okay? This is the problem. When you're marketing, market. When you're selling, sell. But you can't sell unless you have a qualified person who's been marketed to. If you try to sell to someone who's not qualified, you're gonna first have to market to them. You're gonna have to figure out, is this even something you're interested in? And if they're really, is there a chance that you could become interested in it if I were to show you something? Hey, if there was something I could show you about apples, would you possibly have any interest in apples? If I were to show you, then would you, blah, 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 right? And if they said, well, it depends, yeah, maybe I would look at some information for it. Maybe I would eat apples. Now you've marketed and you've qualified that person. Okay, you've gained enough agreement that they're going to reciprocate. They're in a two-way communication with you now, okay? Do not go into sales until you've accomplished a two-way communication, which is basically what marketing does, okay? So sales works. You can close big numbers in sales. In my company, I'm going to tell you a secret. I close probably 19 out of 20, okay? I close everything. I literally close them all. Why? Because I'm good at marketing. Because people call me who are qualified. Okay? Sales should be the easiest damn thing if marketing is done. Okay? Think of it like this. Marketing is, let's say you want to catch a fish. You're going to need some bait and you're going to need a fishing hook. Okay? Your marketing is your fishing hook and it's your bait. Okay? If the bait is working and it catches a hungry fish, or if the fish don't like your bait, if you're asking the wrong questions, if your product makes no sense and it sucks, or if you're not, maybe your product is good, but you're blasting it out to people who won't buy it or who can't buy it. So narrowing down your clients is a huge part of marketing. And sometimes that's the most important step, is figuring out who it is that you want to sell to. That's a huge part of marketing. And a lot of salespeople, you know, just kind of, they're guessing. And a lot of people who struggle in sales actually just aren't even getting in front of qualified people. Okay? So their marketing is out. Marketing is always first, then sales. Okay? So, but if your fishing rod and your bait and your line is your marketing, then once you catch that fish, once the fish bites, okay, now you're moving into sales. Because sales is like, okay, good, I have a fish who was hungry, he bit my bait, now I'm gonna reel him in, and how am I gonna bang him over the head and gut him and eat him, right? So how am I gonna do that? Now you're moving into sales, okay? The part after sales is delivery, but people usually don't have much confusion on that. So the full cycle is this: marketing, sales, delivery, okay? That's the cycle of action, okay? Don't mix marketing with sales. Don't try to sell before you market. And don't sell if you don't need to. If marketing does everything for you, then just put your money there. Everything has a balance. Some things take 99% marketing, 1% sales. Some things take, you know, sometimes on some things the salesperson has to first market one-on-one as an individual and then also sell. Okay? So breaking these two things apart, learning how they flow in together is the first step to clearing your head and troubleshooting why, you know, maybe there's some things you've done really well, and maybe there's some things you've had trouble with, especially breaking open your income. Yeah. Tell me what you think below. If you think I got these definitions wrong, let me know. Feel free to add your own definition. Hey, I want to know, what do you think is the definition of marketing and sales? Do you think that these marketing gurus and sales gurus should start off with defining the basic definitions in which they're going to discuss? That's one thing they always get it wrong. I would love to see more of these finance gurus starting and defining the actual terms in which, and then going forward from there. So they're a little scattered to me, and because I don't feel they're precise enough. So hopefully this helps you. And if it doesn't, screw you. Just kidding. Have a great day. Thanks.